Hey, this is episode 15. This is gonna be a really quick of doing something in low sec. Blah 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 blah. Gonna try to do a quick video here to help out some buddies of mine that are in my corp. They've come out here into low sec, so I wanted to do a quick video on some things that would help them and anyone um, stay alive out in here low sec a little bit better, even if you don't have cloaking. Um, there is no rhyme or reason to this. Maybe I'll do a more structured video down the road, but I just want to do this real quick so they could watch it if they have a chance and maybe keep them alive a little bit better. I've lived out here for a little while. I'm nowhere near an expert, but I'm having a lot of fun, and so I thought I would just pass this along to them. So first off, I'm in my Imicus. I've learned most of this doing exploration, but I think it could be very helpful for a lot of different things. Whether or not you want to do some mining, whether or not you want to do some exploration, or even do some combat sites. So, what I'm, and I don't have a cloak. If you notice here, I don't have a cloak on this ship at all. I actually don't have the skills to cloak. Um, but where I'm at currently is what's called a safe spot. And to show you exactly what a safe spot is, it is, here is my, let me just go over here. And if I go to on the bottom left hand corner here, if you hit scanners and hit probes, go ahead and close this down for a second. This will show you the actual solar system here that I'm in. And actually, let's go ahead and close down my directional scanner too, just so it's a little bit prettier to see. Okay, so this is the solar system that I'm currently in, and this is where I'm at right here. You are here, okay? And if you see here, I made a location, and it's actually no place that any player can warp to unless they have that location or they've scanned it down. The only way that you can scan it down is if you try to scan this guy down with combat scanners. And I'll show you how to watch out for those as well. So, how do you make one of these? Well, first off, I'll show you. Let's say I'm going to warp to the gate at Adatide. Okay? So I'm going to warp here, warp within 100, so I'm 100 off of it. Just want to show you the map here. It'll show me move to Adatide. In a second. Moving. There I go. Moving. Da, 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 da. Okay. So I'm going to that station there. As you notice, it takes a while to slow down once you get into warp. Now let's say I want to make a safe spot between here and this asteroid. So I'm going to go ahead and warp to that at 100. And while I'm warping, I'm going to hit Control B. That is to create a safe spot. And I'm going to hit Safe 2 to name it. And as I'm flying, watch as I'm flying here, I'm going to hit Safe. See how that stopped right there? There's a safe spot created there, right there in between the two spots that I was going through. So I hit Control B, entered in the name that I wanted, and then as soon as I get here, I'm going to go ahead and click outside of this location, see how it has Safe 2 there. I'm going to warp right back to it. And you'll see here, I will warp not all the way back to where I started, but to the safe spot that I just created. And now I am right here, and no one can get to me unless they have combat probes. Or they're in my fleet, and then I'm just dumb to have somebody who wants to kill me in my fleet. The second most important thing here, if you notice in my local, always have your local up. If I'm in low sec, I always keep local right here in the middle, so it's the first thing that I can see. Everything else can go away if I want to. And I've got all these guys. I see that there's two other people in this fellow corp mate, and then I got two other people in the system here. So I always want to just check and see these guys. This guy's only 13 days old, but you never know. This guy here is 9 days old, but you never know. Never take him for granted. But the only way they can find me is by combat probing out. Now, how do I see combat probes? If I pull up my directional scanner right here, put it to the side, and if I just see any combat probes. Now I'll show you if I load my core probes in here, what they would look like almost. I'm just going to put my directional scanner out here far. Now watch whenever I launch my... Now these scanner probes are out here. Now if I scan here, see the scanner probes show up on my directional scanner. It will show everything within a 314.3 radius of my ship that would normally show up in my overview that I currently have. If I switch this over to mining, then it just shows mineable things that are in my mining overview. Warp 2, scan that. Then it just shows warp 2 things. See what? There's a lot more in regards to directional scanning, but the most important thing with this video is if you were ever to see not just core scanning probes, but combat. If this says combat scanning probes when you scan here, that means somebody is trying to scan you down and you want to have multiple locations. This is actually kind of rare that somebody would take the time to try to scan you down, but you're never 100% safe. So yeah, this is a great way to just set yourself up pretty well. So basically, make a safe spot, keep your directional scanner up. You can also use your directional scanner if you're in the system doing a combat site or mining. You can keep mining away, put your directional scanner up, and just keep an eye out to see if anybody's coming within range of you. Right now it's set at 14.3 AU away. Now watch, I moved to a different spot, and now only this stuff is within 14.3 AU. I can take this down to only 5 AU. Now nothing is close to me. Now, how does this show up on the map? I know I'm just kind of brushing off on this real quick. Notice this bubble here? This bubble is my directional scanner. If I increase the radius of it, that is how far off that goes. So if I move to my old safe spot, warp within 100, watch how the bubble moves. And as the bubble moves, all of this other stuff will become visible within my directional scanner. See how all that stuff popped up? Now it didn't pop up here yet. I haven't scanned. Now I can scan it. All of this stuff here. Last but not least, rather than hitting this scan button all the time, if you just hit V, that is the hotkey to update your directional scanning. So you can just keep hitting V. So Control B to make a safe spot, and V to update your directional scanning. And I just said last but not least, but I shouldn't have said that. One other thing, which I was just showing some guys here, is when you pull up your sites, you can see all sorts of, so you hit scanners, and then probe scanner, and it will give you all of the sites that are currently in the system, whether or not they've been scanned down or not. If they've got this here, that means you can warp to them, or if they're scannable. So if you're trying to do exploration, you've got that. I know this is really a basic video. I just want to make it really quick, so it might be able to help some guys. If it helps you to stay safe, it makes me happy. I'd like to, down the road, do a much more in-depth couple of videos on directional scanning. There's so much involved with it. It makes games so much more interesting. because it makes it more fluid, that you live in a space, that you're actually looking around you and checking things versus just pointing and clicking at spots. And it's what changes the game from being spreadsheets in space to actually playing a game, in my mind. So, um, but just want to make that quick. I'm going to end this fastest video I've done in quite a while. 10 minutes. Woo! Alrighty. You guys have a great one. I will try to make another video the next week. I finally have a couple days off, so I'm going to have a lot of fun this weekend playing Eve and doing some yard work, if you can believe it. Alrighty, have a good one. Fly safe.